Morning. Yesterday I was just awake when I saw this news on Jkia. Now, in Kenya, it's like we don't rest. Yeah, so I was looking at the comments and it really beat me that people think that the government banned it, but there's no evidence. So why this insinuation? Why did people think that it was banned by the government? Now, I'm trying to add 1 and 2, and the reason why many people in comment sections were like, hey, country imeisha, serikali ndio hiyo imefanya maneno, kasongo, and all that. This insinuation is coming from the Adani deal. In Kenya, you are not buried and rest. No. Lazima tukufufue. So Adani, you remember Adani was a very heavy topic last year from October. It ran all the way to December, and from the new year we have not heard much about it, especially after the president declared that it was not the right company to associate with, especially after the key owner of Adani was arrested in America for having, crime records. Now, many pictures which we saw, of course, were just showing like grass is burning and all that. Let's look at this.
If you're just joining us, this is breaking news. There is a fire at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. That is the field alongside the runway. We've just seen a plane.
Actually, if you look at that picture, you are just seeing as if it's grass that is burning. And those who are in cars were saying they cannot have a clear view of what's burning. And it was indicated that there was just a plane from Malindi that had landed. Now, our question was, where did this plane land if there is a fire in the airport? I just wondered whether people are creating a big story over a small thing. So it's now morning and we are yet to get the damage, to understand the damage that was done in Jkia. Now, why did people think that it was banned? People were thinking that, the previous demand of Adani buying the airport was out to benefit some people, possibly. Yeah, the 10% in the country and all that, and maybe when it's such a deal, it's not 10%. That's what I just think. Now, I don't have statistics. Don't think that I have deeper information over this, but I'm just reacting over what people are saying. Now, when you look at the inbox comments, some people are like, wanataka wachome ndio Adani aitwe kuja kurepair. I laughed at this comment because I was like, okay, so how will Adani come back and repair if Adani was rejected? Or is it another Adani? In Kenya you can have several monkeys. Just you change the monkey, but the forest remains the same. Yeah? That's how we do things. In Kenya, that's how we do things. Yeah, so I was like, okay. Because in Kenya, you don't see a fire and just imagine it's a normal one, it's a natural disaster. Every time even Gikomba burns, there is a story behind it. Every time maybe Mukuru Kwanjenga burns, there is a story behind it. Somebody is at work. Maybe they want that land that was in use to become one person's land. Now, I hope you remember that we have contentious issues on this land, railways, and the airports. It's like there was both of contention, but it was not Jkia. Yeah. Because I remember it was the airport, the other airport. It was Embakasi Airport, if I may, I'm not wrong. That is where there was bone of contention over land, that land belonged to some other people and such things. But Jkia, I'm just trying to scratch my head, and I can't get why exactly somebody would ban. And that's why many Kenyans are running back to Adani. And I'm just hoping that it's not, because what we heard from Onyonka and other whistleblowers, it was not a good story. So So now, what are the consequences of an airport beginning to burn? You know, we receive tourists, though March is from somewhere September onwards. But we have few who come in. You know, Americans, they are different from us. There are people who work so much during the summer, others during the winter, and they go for holidays. Unlike us who can work the whole year, but we don't have money enough to go for such holiday. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, so tourists, how will tourists view what happened at Jkia? And I know Jkia is the one of the greatest entry point into Kenya. Yeah, so many people come to Kenya by landing at Jkia. Even the name itself is a big name. Yeah, and that's why Moi decided to have a big school around there, because even big people can just have their kids learning in this school, and then they can simply book an airport and go wherever they are going. Now, another effect I was seeing is what reputation will it create for us as Kenya? You know, I was listening to Sifuna recently and Onyonka talking about Raila Odinga, and after failing in the seat he had been vying for, and now he wants to go for OAU, and we are like, okay, let's look back at what Kenya has supported and what has not. And there was a very hot debate between Onyonka and who was this? In Parliament, if you saw that. So I'm like, okay, so what will it create for international and even just around Africa? Yeah, so that's my concern. Now, another question I have is, now what about the workers? Will there be some closure a bit, or was it just something small that will end and we forget about it? We are very good at forgetting things in Kenya, so will we just forget it very fast and move on? So that was one of my questions. I was to make this video yesterday, but it was like, oh my God, I was very unwell. Even by now, I'm not feeling well, but I'm just trying to see what I can do about this. So guys, I love you. Continue watching this. Support me. I really need your support. I'm still below 2,000 subscribers, and I'm really longing for that. Bye-bye for now.